Can Tony Stewart do something that no NASCAR Hall of Famer has ever done or probably will ever do in the history of motorsports? Well, we're about to unpack this. I'm David Hoffman with Behind the Catch Fence. Welcome back in. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning here at the Behind the Catch Fence club. It's been a lot of fun with the month of May. We've been covering a lot of Indianapolis 500 and Coca-Cola 600 coverage. So if you guys are looking for some more content with that, we had a Mark Martin interview go out last week. We had Mario Andretti go out yesterday, both exclusive interviews. So you guys can go check those out. And we got a interview with Takuma Sato coming out tomorrow on Wednesday, and then Danny Sullivan on Fast Friday. All Indianapolis 500 winners. It's going to be a lot of fun. But today we're switching gears a little bit. We're heading back to NHRA. And we are talking all about Tony Stewart and his incredible run in the NHRA Top Fuel category. On Sunday in Chicago, Stewart made a statement run in the finals as he got around Justin Ashley with a 377 pass at 329.10 miles an hour, making it his first career two-wide victory and his second win in the last three races. Now, the win was not only his second win in the last three races, it was also his fourth final round appearance in the last four races. I mean, what can you say from a guy who went from the open wheel background to stock cars, now to transition over to NHRA where it's a completely different landscape, completely different type of race, and to have success like he's been having these last couple weeks, especially since the start of the year, it just proves not only just the growth, but the determination to keep chugging along, to keep working at it. And obviously he's got a lot of good people behind him with, Leah, his wife, and then Matt Hagan, his teammate in Funny Car, a lot of great people around them. To me, it's the perfect storm. And I was looking back because we had covered the New England Nationals, and that was sort of the first time that we really saw Stewart really get a hang of it. And I remember I was talking to his wife Leah before Sunday's race, and she had said, I think you're going to see something real. I think you're going to see a lot of growth out of him. You're going to see it out on track. Sure enough, he made it to the semifinals that week, and I think it was the first time he had made the semifinals or something like that. But I just remember that was sort of the flip of the switch for him and that team. And then obviously they end up making it to the finals in Sonoma a couple weeks later, where Antron Brown topped him there. But then I think you really started to see things click. And then the finals, when we were there in Pomona, he ended up making the semifinals against, I think he was taking on Doug Coletta, or I don't remember who it was. I think it might have been Brittany. But whatever it was, I just remember, you could tell that things were started to get into a rhythm. Obviously winning Rookie of the Year in NHRA, and then this year you come in and we were in Gainesville, even though those tricky conditions on that Sunday after countless rain, then all of a sudden, he's the only guy in Top Fuel, the only driver in Top Fuel that's even able to make a full pass down the racetrack, while everyone else is either spinning the tires, smoking the tires, or just only able to get to quarter track, half track. That team kind of dialed into where they had a safe car, a safe setup that was able to get down the racetrack. And I just think that speaks volumes to Stewart's development and that team figuring out what works best for him. Now, the one thing I've just found really interesting with this trajectory of Stewart and this whole Top Fuel team is just the fact that now they've been able to get a win under their belt in cooler conditions. Those conditions where it's going to matter more, especially when it gets cooler towards the latter part of the year, when you're in the countdown of the championship, and every week, conditions are optimal. So obviously Stewart was able to conquer and figure out a good setup for that race car in the hotter conditions, the slick conditions. Obviously back to his NASCAR days, he was able to really get a lot of his success in those summer months when it was hot and slick. And it's kind of interesting how now in NHRA, kind of the same thing, where other drivers are struggling, he's able to find that fine line of not going over, smoking the tires, or that sort of thing, and they're able to get down the track. But I found it interesting, and we'll hear from his post-race interview here in a second, just how much just being able to find that right kind of balance and be able to find success in these cooler conditions, and how it's really going to help them going forward, especially when the countdown begins here in a couple months.
I was really worried about Saturday and Sunday when I knew we had cooler track conditions. I knew that was going to play into Brittany and Steve and Colettas and Langdons and Antron. I mean, they can throw down big numbers when the track conditions are right. And so I was genuinely concerned about that because our program hasn't been there yet, but we haven't really had an opportunity. So, when it cooled off and we ran a 67 yesterday, got really excited because we had talked internally in our group with Neil and Mike and Ryan and the whole team about it's hard to prepare for the fall when we're really racing for a championship when you don't have conditions that are going to be like what we're going to have in the fall when it starts cooling off. We had that this weekend, and so to run that 67 and then first round today to run a 69, that is very encouraging for us because now we have some data that we can go back and look at when the track starts cooling off in the fall and you're really racing for the championship at the end of the season. Once the points reset, we're not starting from scratch. So I'm very encouraged by yesterday and today, this morning. But then this afternoon kind of fell back into our wheelhouse. When you're in the 70s and mid and upper 70s, I feel like our car's really good in those conditions right now. So, we kind of had a mixture of both conditions today. First round was very cool again, big numbers, record runs for some people, and then to see it warm up, that's a big swing. We don't normally see that on a weekend. If it's hot, it's normally hot the whole weekend. If it's cool, it's normally cool the whole weekend, but this was a mixture of both.
Now, the one thing I really found interesting during his press conference was the fact that even though you always see, heck, we saw it on Sunday with Joey Logano and Christopher Bell. Logano is beyond irked and frustrated with the way Christopher Bell raced him during the All-Star race there at North Wilkesboro. It's funny because you go from that to Stewart then basically saying how tight the camaraderie is within NHRA, and he really delved into, maybe a lot of motorsports want to have these rivalries and whatever else, and that's awesome. But also, he mentioned just how what sets NHRA apart is the fact that they have this camaraderie and they have this whole tight-knit group that can really bring the best out of each other, and it makes it more satisfying as well. Here's what Tony had to say.
I know NHRA wants all of us to have rivalries and drama and BS that NASCAR and all that bullshit that they deal with over there. They can kiss our ass. They can take that and stuff it up their ass for all I care. It's great. It's great for them. It's not great for us. We're driving 300-mile-an-hour cars, and it's okay for us to respect and like each other and have to compete against each other at this level. I like that part of it. I like where I'm at. I like the atmosphere that NHRA provides. I'm very happy about my decision to be where I'm at. So when you go up against Davis's team and you go up against Skag and Randy and his program and you race against Justin Ashley, and I guarantee you I can go on my cell phone right now and there's a text message from Justin Ashley and Mike Ashley congratulating us, and probably Randy as well, and Davis. It's the camaraderie in the sport that I think is underestimated. As much as NHRA wants the drama because they think they got to be like NASCAR, they don't have to be like NASCAR. They have something that nobody has. They have an atmosphere here that is family friendly, that is fan friendly, that is competitor friendly, and that we all like each other. I was with Steve Torrance and Natalie in their motorhome till 10:30 last night. We're camping together, and that's the stuff that I like about our sport. And so when you line up against them, you want to beat them. We joke around saying, you want to put your foot on their throat, and make their face turn blue. But that's competitors, and that only lasts for 3.5 seconds. But when you get to the top end, whoever loses, you congratulate each other. And it doesn't have to be cutthroat all the time. It's respect, and that's what NHRA has. Is these teams, these drivers, they all respect each other, and that's what I really love about this sport. It makes wins like today mean that much more because of that. That's an element they don't have in NASCAR. Those other drivers aren't going up there after a win going, man, hey, congrats. They're mad because they lost to somebody. And that's what you have to be over there, but it doesn't have to be like that over here. And that's what I really love about NHRA right now.
Now, the final takeaway I had from Stewart's victory, now obviously we've all seen fired up Tony Stewart, and whether that's the 2011 Homestead run where Tony, during this press conference with Carl Edwards next to him, is like, I'd wreck my mom to win a championship. And then you hear throughout the radio during that Homestead race where Smoke's going, like, we got this, they're going to be really upset when we come back from this and blah, blah, blah. You've all seen it, and, it's funny to see, we've all seen really fired up Smoke, but it was kind of cool to see how fired up he was after this win, because this win wasn't only for just the team and just, all right, we're the points leader now. It was also kind of like a little feather in the cap for Stewart, because like anyone else in this day and age, we're always looking at social media and X and Facebook and all the comments on Instagram, whatever else. And you can tell it did kind of get to him a little bit, and he delves in on that a little bit more here, just about kind of what motivates him at this stage of his career and what he has to say about some of these guys that are kind of heckling him on social media.
I make a big mistake of reading social media, which I think we all make very vital, critical mistakes by reading the keyboard warriors that are dumbasses that sit in their mother's basements and don't do a damn thing and haven't accomplished anything in their life, and tell you how bad you are at what you do. But they can't tell you to their face. I've never stood at the ropes and anybody come up there and go, you really are bad at this, and you should put your wife in the car. But I read it on the internet that, why is he driving the car? His wife's way better. She almost won a world championship. Well, now they can kiss my ass. They literally can kiss my ass, and I'll sit there and stick it out for them too, because they don't do a damn thing. They've never accomplished anything in their life. They don't know how to work hard to be successful in anything. That's why they say the shit they say on the internet. And to sit there and have to fight and prove these people wrong, that's the pride I take now. That's the pride I'm leaving here with tonight. I'm going on vacation with Buddy Hall and his family. We're going and having a great week this week. I'm going to celebrate this, because this is for all those people that say that I suck, I'm no good, I'm terrible, I've never been anything. This is for all those people. They don't have anything to show for it. I got 2 silver Wallies this year to show for it. We've proven these guys wrong. So they can say what they want to say now. Now they just look stupid when they say it. That's the pride I take in what we have, what we've done today, and what we're accomplishing.
Final thoughts for me, obviously, we don't know what's to come for Stewart in that whole Top Fuel class. It is as stacked as it comes from top to bottom. I mean, anybody, any given day is able to run out there, knock down a couple win lights, and all of a sudden they're the points leader. I mean, we saw it with Sean Langdon. We saw it with Antron Brown last year in the countdown of the championship. I mean, it was Justin Ashley's to lose for the entire time, but then Antron Brown got hot, knocked down a couple win lights, and all of a sudden he's the champion for a third straight time. Or not for a third straight time, you know what I mean. But it's just one of those things where, the fact that Stewart only in his second year is able to not only be the points leader, but have these experiences on the track, whether it's hot or cool. I just think, we don't know yet. We don't know how they're going to react, how once the points reset, how the rest of the season's going to go. But I think it's a lot of great building points, and I do think you got to take Tony Stewart and that TSR team seriously right now, especially when you have a proven winner in Stewart. You have the people behind him in Leah Pruitt, and then just all the crew behind him that where they're feeling it right now. And when you have that combination, it is hard to knock them down. And I'm sure they're going to be trying different things throughout the next couple months, knowing that they're pretty solid. They're pretty solid in the countdown and their points and that sort of thing. But I think the next step for them is, how do we keep this going? How do we keep the momentum going? How do we keep sort of put it down on their throat and saying, hey, we're going to keep going at this and see how big of a points lead we can build? And I'm sure there's going to be guys like, Justin Ashley or Brittany Force or Doug Coletta and Sean Langdon, and Steve Torrance is always an X factor, even though he's not running full time. I just think, how are they going to continue to develop this team, this operation? And it's going to be a lot of fun. We know that for sure. And anytime Stewart's attached to anything NHRA or racing related, it's going to be a show. So that's all we got for today. What are your thoughts on how Stewart's going to do the rest of the way? Do you really think that Tony Stewart can contend for a Top Fuel championship? We certainly think so, but we want to know your thoughts. Let us know in the comments below. We have plenty of content coming your way, whether it's NHRA, NASCAR, IndyCar, sprint cars, you name it, we got it. I think I heard that that saying somewhere, you name it, we got it. I don't know. But that's all the time we have for today. Make sure to follow the show on X and Instagram at Behind Catch. And continue to stay tuned. We got plenty of content coming your way, driver interviews, exclusive content. We got it all. So thanks again for tuning in. I'm David Hoffman. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll catch you later.